Good morning. Good morning, Google. Come here. I got one of the quiet cats here that never come here. Come here, Google Bear. Her name's Gucci. She's the oldest cat we have. Come on. Wanna come up here and say hi? Hmm? She's the oldest cat we have. You can see she looks old. You guys rarely get to see this one. And the Siamese is off the chain this morning. The problem with Gugu is she's never retracted her claws, and she's not always the easiest. She hides most of the time. When we found her, she was by a lumpia stand, like begging for food on the ground up on MacArthur Highway about 5 years ago. So she is the hair. I don't know. Sometimes I like it over my ears and sometimes I don't. But waiting for the room to fill in because I got a late start. George is still asleep. He never went to sleep last night. Some days he just stays up. Like I said, that's the biggest issue here lately is he seems to be sleeping in the daytime and he's a night person, kind of like I was for years. Now I tend to get up at like 4 in the morning, and so it's kind of odd. So, good morning, good morning. Sound check to make sure the mics aren't crackling. Today's topic, again, there's always topics. I am trying to stay off the subject of being sick because this could go on forever or only one more day. Who knows? So that and it was always a topic because everything that came up is dealing with me being sick. But I was talking to George yesterday about America and the Philippines, and we haven't really talked about it. Most people don't like to compare it. It's an apple to orange thing. But considering what's been going on in the U.S., the government, the cost of living, which the government is, I don't know, it just cut out. Sorry, internet is having an issue already. So, considering the government's stance on inflation and cost ain't really happening to nobody, and I feel there's a lot of gaslighting going on in all newspapers and news. It's there's just no way I couldn't see it 5 years ago. And George was making good money. I was still on Social Security with some savings and a lot of credit cards. And so I could only imagine. So there's a lot of things, and I will go through that because there's going to be a big social adjustment, a cultural adjustment. Um, there's everything, even hiring in somebody into household versus you would hire somebody in America is different. Like if you get a babysitter or like a nanny or housekeeper, so many different things to compare, like healthcare. Till now, $20 to get into a specialist, and my medications weren't so bad. But the worst thing I could have been hit with is what I'm hit with. And now I'm on a ton of medications. So maintaining something that costs 300 plus a month could be hard long term. And we'll get into the discussion of Social Security because it looks like it was a Mike slip up yesterday. Literally, I believe the guy's name is Mike, the Speaker of the House, actually slipped up and says he's dealing with Social Security now. I'm not going to take it as far as some of the other stations and channels that have said that Social Security will absolutely be cut next year, but he did say something's got to be done. So people should be concerned. And my concern is other people that I know that are family that have moved over here that is on Social Security. They've got, oh, of course, some savings, way more than I thought about bringing, which was 60,000 5 years ago. Well, we left America with that much. Let's just say we spent a lot in Mexico and stuff happened there too. And so it's scary because I'm thinking a lot of Filipinos lived and worked in America, served the military and everything else. They're coming home and that is their source, period. So imagine being 66, 70, and then with Social Security and they cut that program. And a lot of people, oh, they're only going to cut it in half, and that's a scare tactic. No, scare tactics would have been 3 years ago. what they're doing now, if they're cutting other programs and cutting millions out of WIC and all these other programs, there's a good chance we're looking at, instead of 30, 32, or 34, we're looking at a year. And so people should be very concerned. And of course, I am at this point. So all you can do is do one day at a time. So today's topic overall is going to be about the differences. The healthcare is cheaper, but what about the insurance? And just the differences in experience in a conversation with you. Hey, yo, Gucci cat. We call her Goo Goo Bear. Anyways, yeah, it's weird. She comes out, but I guess she's not. She usually messes with George, and maybe he pushed her out. So, good morning, chosen one is in the house. What is going on? Hmm. Sarah is in the house. I'm eating. I told you guys because I can't drink a lot of fluid. I ended up getting some peppermints. Now I don't know what a small bag. Aren't these similar to the one at the Dollar Tree? What do those cost in America right now, guys? I'm just curious if this was, because it's not a very big bag. I mean, I think they said it was 8 ounces. So I'm just curious of what they're charging for those right now. But here it was almost $5. So, and it's hard to find real peppermint oil, or anything. Even the candy canes just taste like sugar to me. We would get some to put on the tree every year, and every time you go to eat them, it's like, told Georgia, said, I don't think they even put it in there. They just made them red and white candy canes. Good morning, Sarah. What is going on? This thing has been twisted. Been on this for a few hours. Ugh, why I get so twisted. Sarah's saying her good morning, Keith. Good morning. And also, I want to. What is going on? Chosen one is in the house. Welcome back. I want to say, yay, Knicks. Looks like we do have a chance. I thought that was it. I thought that was a jinx situation, and they were not coming back. But looks like the Knicks are back, baby. The Knicks are back. Um, I do want to do a quick update. I said I'd be giving some updates. For me, nothing has changed. A lot of people contact on a daily basis. It's the same thing for me. Officially, without the insurance I was going to get that I discussed in the last week or two, it is self pay. So until I save that, then it's just day to day for me. Medications, appointments every month with 3 specialists, and prayers. Wow, there's a lot of issues right now. Can you guys see that flashing? Hmm. Oh, wow. Already this morning, 7 in the morning, and the internet's acting up. That's another thing. Can you deal with all of that? Power outages, internet issues, always out of stock. And then people have been talking about the food quality. If you're looking for Western food, or it doesn't matter whether it's Filipino and it looks like a fancy restaurant, whether it's Western restaurants or people cooking Western food, the quality has gone downhill in the last couple years. Some Filipino just outright was complaining that they refried a bucket of KFC that was here in town. And they were so disgusted. Not only was it dried out, it was just horrible, they said. And I was like, yeah, welcome to most of that food. And a bunch of people responded the same. It's not worth it. You're paying Western prices, and the food quality for the restaurants are just downhill right now. Um, but anyways, they let's talk about the falling building as an update. They did stop the search for the building that fell. That's been covered. I said every vlogger in the world was covering that, especially Filipino. They were always going down there. They were hanging up banners in the area. showing who had passed away. Looks like they tried to settle with one of the families for only 150,000 pesos. That's less than 3,000 US, and there were two of them that were killed. So I'm telling you, life. The I couldn't believe it, but they denied taking the money. But now they're looking for funeral funds, and so they're burying the family now. But what happened is it happened on the 24th. The final count is they stopped after 18 days. Have no idea what's going on. Keeps cutting out. All right, I think we're back. So I restarted. So, all right, guys. So the internet is built different, chosen one. The problem with the online streaming is we've been using Restream for over a year now, and the reason being it's half the price of the other one we were using because we're spending 100 out of the 200-300 a month that we make on YouTube, or sometimes more. So it just depends. But the apps that we're using for editing, the streaming, the storage of our videos, it adds up quick. We all know that. So we went with another company that was fairly new, but they hold it on their own servers. And ever since we started using them, it's been giving us a hard time on Facebook because it streams live there. And it no longer does it live when it's supposed to be live. We have to go in and turn it on afterwards. And it's the same with this. It's always messing up. But we know it's partially the internet here. Hey, Ted, what's going on? Ted, Hose Only Association, sir. Right. All right. So I don't know how much you heard, but I was saying they called off the search after 18 days. 95% of the building's gone through. Now, on the earthquake, I'm going to play you a clip that we had gotten off of Facebook and show you some of that. And this is in Davao City, where the footage is at Rizal and Bolton Street. You can actually see where things are swinging at the beginning of it. And this was the light side of it. Currently, the earthquake that was on the 8th, there are 45 people not alive now because of it. 33,596 families, and that's families, which is about 150,000 people, and 184 barangays in that area. It is covered near Sunshine Shoulders, and I was happy to see he was okay. He's always in those disasters there. And so this right here, which you just seen, would have been a scene where they were worried about a tsunami. And this building, you could barely see it was swaying. There were pieces breaking off of it. You can see the swimming pool. To me, those are so dangerous at the top of those buildings. And this is a family that was showing their area. Absolute devastation for these families. I mean, not the best construction in the world, but it really hits hard for a lot of these families. It's kind of crazy. Imagine being with that type of style of life that everything you had went into that, and it's their home, and then it gets ripped down. And of course, there's a one that went on every news around the world was the students. They could not even stand. So it's crazy. Hey, what's that? Oh, there we are at the Knicks game. Ah, shit. I I do. I couldn't help myself. So there it is, guys. What's really going on? So that's kind of the update before the topic of getting into America, the home of the free, to Philippines. What's really going on? So, Slick Rick is in the house. Good morning. And thanks, guys, for sticking around with all that, the mess going on. Right? Chosen One said he was normalizing. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ray is in the house. Good morning. And I want to hear from you guys also. Good morning, Mike. Good morning. I want to hear from you guys on, a preference. Now, some people are living between America and the Philippines. They will stay here part of the year and then they go back to America. And I'm just wondering, with the way things are changing, if people are officially going to come here, or are they more afraid of being here with these disasters that are increasing, which pretty much have always been here. But, with the cost of living is slightly increasing here, it's nowhere compared. No matter how much I've complained, it's nowhere near that. Oh, oh sorry, guys. Always feels like I got a cold. Good morning, Tony. Good morning. Yes, I will. I didn't want to do an entire show on it. So let me tell you what I'm to understand. There was a video that just came out like a day ago, day and a half, and I was determining to do that, but I didn't want to do an entire segment on it. Okay, so this come from Filipinos that were there, and there was a whole police interview that George sat through. According to him, these guys knew each other. All the comments that I read on Sunshine Shoulders and others that were in some of the other segments of stuff that was put up originally when it happened, they were like, oh, these guys were fighting over the woman. There were so many insinuations. No, these guys knew each other. Okay, so we are not aware that the other guy is black and that this other guy is white. There is footage that we have that shows the guy. It does show him in jail. We have that footage. Maybe we will do another one or do a video on it. Monday, we'll do a live based on it is the anniversary of Pinatubo. And so George said he definitely wanted to do that. So it might be on another time. But he is in jail. But what had happened is the other guy who is dead. Had sent, this is long term, had sent some Filipino to kill him several times, sent him to do him in, and the guy knew about it to the point where they were hunting each other down. So something went south. George seems to think that there might be a connection, that he dated his wife at one point. There's something, but the other guy who's not around sent somebody after the other American that's in jail now. 100% sure of that. And there is, I don't know why, for me, it stuck with me that it was said that it was a black man, because it's not a black and white thing. It's a dumbass thing. And so I wanted to make that clear. There still is no evidence that the guy that's dead is black, except for somebody going on Sunshines and saying they knew he was. It had nothing to do with that. So why race was brought up, I have no idea. It was just a dumbass thing. These guys had more than enough time on their hands to chase each other and to somehow end up in the same bar. The gun was unregistered. The wife did not own it, and it was an old gun. Like, little to no money was spent for it. And so the guy is going to do life because of, I don't know. I could see if the other guy walked up and grabbed onto his woman and he had the weapon on him and then he was defending her. But no, this was a matter of coming back into the bar or something with the weapon. So that's what we're to understand. And there is no different. That came from the police. So two Americans, one is unalive. The guy who's dead sent somebody to kill the other guy and his wife or something. So I hate to say it, if I was in a bar, oh, and the aggressor was a man who's dead. He approached him at his table, according to several witnesses and the police. So the aggressor was killed, I hate to say it, for some reason. It wasn't like it was just a, hey, you're with my woman, or hey, she looks like a tutu. And no, it wasn't about that. It wasn't about him sleeping with her. It was about there was something else going on. Even one of them said that they had been friends at one point, but I don't know if he dated or knew him. And the one who is in jail is military. I don't have a confirmation if the guy unalived was also in the military. So, but that is the breakdown. And that is what's really going on. We watched the interview. I have a very poor clip of it right now that shows the guy in jail that I recorded, but it'll have to be edited. So we might bring that on another one there, Hector. Yeah. No, it took the reboot. Yeah, I don't know what the. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, that's what the Ted was talking about, home association. I get it. Hi, good morning, Laura. What is going on? America and the Philippines sucks. I would like to state that for the record, but of course, I would choose the U.S. I wouldn't. At this point, for one, I wouldn't feel safe taking any foreigner into America, and I definitely don't trust the government anymore. Like zero. I would have never thought in a million years what's going on would be going on. And it went from 6 months ago, I'd been like, okay, maybe this is just made up. Maybe it is an attack. And then there's just outright lies now. And so he's killed every program. But I had no idea over the years the difference in the Republicans and the Democrats because I never paid attention. So they said all those years it is the Democrats that are giving everything away and helping the poor and keeping the programs going. And the moment the Republicans get in, they withdraw everything. And then when the Democrats get back in, it takes them a while to fill it back in. And it's been a pull. And then others say that America has gone broke because they help the other people. And it's like, but that's what the taxes are for. It's not okay for the Republicans to currently be giving all the money away to Israel, giving all the money away and not taking care of our military while they're starving over there. This unwarranted war and the amount of money just flowing out, this dumbass cage fight coming up that's costing, and they say it's not on the taxpayers. That's bullshit. It is. And so the whole thing is just ridiculous. And there is no more trust for the government. So I wouldn't return there to save my life. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd have been like, yes. If the costs weren't so high and there were decent jobs and there wasn't all the stuff going on over there, crime, because there's just as much crime there as there is here. So, the differences anymore is just a matter. And the Filipinos that are going over there are learning, or the foreigners are learning really quick what's going on when they arrive there. Hey, what's going on? Nelson is in the house. Good morning. And yes, thank you for bringing that up. Today is the 12th. Yes, it's early morning here, 7:30 in the morning. Today is Independence Day. Good times coming. Yeah, the be all kinds of things. They put out a bunch of the military, and there'll be all kinds of events today. I know, I'm almost sure of it. The power companies are closed, and a lot of the big government buildings. So that means banks are closed too. That means immigration is closed. So for anybody that plans to go there, they need to make like the other arrangements for sure. The Philippines drives old people crazy. Who goes around at 70 deleting people? These guys, yeah, both of them are up there in age. Like I said, the biggest comments on everything, Chosen One, is that they were just drunk and jealous. It was some sort of, okay, an American took an American out. No, this goes way back. There was warrants issued We're sure of this now because the police chief spoke all of this. And so there were warrants out. There was a warrant for the guy who tried to attack the other American. So I can't blame him. The guy who is dead did it to himself. If you said there was no reason to send another Filipino out to do your work, you shouldn't have been that mad. You should have just moved away. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So he hired a person to go do the other American in. Then he followed him to the bar and started shit and approached them at the table, and he got killed. So that's, I hate to say it. What would you guys have done? Honestly, if somebody approached you that tried to kill you and your wife, what are you going to do? Just sit there? I probably would have bought the piece too. I hate to say it. That's just, I mean, think about it. To stand up for the other guy and say, "Oh, there had to be something," you're jumping on it. Bullshit. It doesn't matter. He should have walked away. Just like we covered Mark Thornton on this. It doesn't matter if people were threatening through emails. I get threatened all the time. I get bullshit emails all the time. There are people that say things exactly the way they did to Mark Thornton. It's been happening for years. But I'm not going to go approach the people that I'm sure of that are starting the shit and then try to do something to them. Or if I ran into them, even if they got in my face, I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to jail for them. The only time I would have snapped is when he did or would have put his hands on me. But they willingly went out to fight outside. He was ready to fight him. Soon as he stepped out, he kicked the bitch out the door. Remember Mark Thornton shit? Mark Thornton kicked the mother out the front door of that restaurant, coffee shop restaurant. It was a restaurant. So no, sorry. It's if I'd have seen him, I'd have walked out because we knew something was going to go down, or I'd have beat his ass to begin with. With that type of anger, if he had that anger, he should have went. And the same with this. He was hunting him down. I hate to say it. What is it? You get got when you got like that. It's you got it. You're an old dude, and I think these guys are wasting too much time at these bars or hanging out or doing whatever or all this shit that they got going after each other. And it is facts. We have the official facts. Wasn't racism, wasn't anything else except for he tried. The guys who did went after the guy. And that is facts. There are videos out. It officially came out way after Sunshine covered that. And I'm glad he did. I'm not saying there was nothing wrong. It was great coverage, but he read it directly from the Cebu News, and they had just basic facts. And he gave a lot of good points, but it wasn't racism. Silly Siamese. He's off the chain again. 92 degrees. We're at 81. Humidity's coming. And by the way, I did tell some people, didn't get to everybody. We have, check it out. See the broken egg? We have a chick already. It's not even been 3 weeks. But look how little the egg is. It is a quarter of the size. It's a teeny baby chick that we have. So the dad took off. He got out of the cage, that bad guy. He screwed the female chick, or chicken, not the chick. And it said it takes 3 to 4 weeks to produce a chicken. So maybe because it's a miniature or they're the dwarf ones, it doesn't take as long. But he's here already. And I went out there and I was like, oh, that dumb bitch ate the egg. And I went past when I went to go get a package. And I came back and I was like, wait a minute. And this little face peeked out of her. She's sitting on him and he's hiding in there. And she's doing her own keeping him warm, which it was like 100 degrees yesterday. And I'm like, holy shit. And I woke George up. I was like, oh my God. I said, there's a chick out there. So dad took off. We thought we were going to have to buy her somebody. And then she started sitting on this egg. And it is not true. Something I thought had happened. I thought that the females lay the eggs and the eggs get fertilized on the side by the males. That's what I've been told my whole life. I'd never even looked into it. It's not true. They literally were having sex. And when the egg comes out, it gets fertilized that way. I guess as it passes through, it does some crap. But anyways, we have a baby chick. So, and it's hot enough in the Philippines, we don't have to do an incubator. We bought like a $20 incubator thinking we were going to keep them inside afterwards. And she's not. She's taking care of them. She's happy. Okay, now that was the internet. So previous, it's the camera went out, it started cutting out. Now it's just saying lost connection. So that is the internet. So we're having both going on today. But we have a baby chick. I was excited. I said my farm is growing. I got I got cats, I got Gucci, and I've got two chickens and dogs and George. E-I-E-I-O and me. If he was 70, a former military, and felt his life was being threatened. Yeah, somebody sending. I kind of can't blame the guy. And maybe he should have found more restraint, kind of like Mark and that other guy, Dexter. They should have found more constraint. And I know that's rough coming from me because, until you're in that position. But the other guy was must have had some. I mean, I'm trying to figure a reason he would go having another person for hire go after somebody. It can't be that serious. It cannot, where you're hiring somebody else in to do somebody else and his wife in. That's insane at that age. He should have. There's no time for that in your 70s. I can't imagine. It's just pure hate. And actually, I understand. Most of the men sending us emails and the channels starting with us are over 60 and they're full of hate. You're going to say I'm full of hate too. You're probably right. But I'm not going to hire someone to go after these people. I'm not going to go by their house like some of these guys have done to me. It's just insane. You need to go sit the fuck down in a corner somewhere and just chill, man. I don't get it. Sit in some AC and chill and watch a Lifetime movie or something. You could have saved your life based on watching some Lifetime, bitch. Just where it is. 88, right? She's like, it's nuts. Hey, Mike and Venus is in the house. Good morning, lovely couple. So let me know, guys. 74 people in the room. Would you live between both? Where are you guys at? Let me know. A lot of people, I guess, are not aware that we are in the Philippines. We've been there. Out of 1,000 videos, more than half are expat help. Probably even more than half. Probably 75%. Could be some drama in there, but there's still expat advice, help, or us living here, which is still doing the same thing. And out of like the situation of living here, I am in the Philippines, been here over 5 years. And I would have told you, yeah, a few years ago I was ready to get out, mostly because of the heat, and it gets depressing because of the dirt, the breaking down of stuff, the buildings, the poverty. And if you can get past the fifth year, me and George discussed this yesterday, you're pretty golden. People are either gone in the first 6 months or they get past that 5 year hump. And again, there's no real like comparison on things. Let me see something here. Yeah, I mean, one of the bigger things is like the buying power. That is one of the big reasons people come here. It is the one that drove me here. I thought George can be with his family. He had not been around his daughter forever, and there had been family he had not seen in a long time. So I'm like, what a bonus, because we knew a lot of the family in America would come back eventually, and so the buying power is a big thing. It's when you bring in even the smallest amount of Social Security, people make it here. They do, and a lot of them, it's it's it comes along with knowing the culture from being in the military, feeling more comfortable, getting out of the major grind in the U.S. That's for sure. Oh, Laura and Rick's in there talking. I'm right through the comments here. Hey guys, get off of that, Siamese. Hey, I wish I had a spray bottle. Silly cats. They're messing with the fan. I'm gonna get a spray bottle and spray them. A lot of it is going to be the cost of living. You got to, between America and the Philippines, can you deal with the big cultural difference? A lot of people, they ain't no cultural difference. There is. There is all the way around. As I've said it a dozen times, the it seems like living in the 80s here, like one big summer camp, and it's a very it's almost like living with a lot of teenagers. That's the way every time something's going on, I'm like, this is the behavior of a teenager pool party. It's just kind of where it goes. That's old news. So, are we discussing not what I just said? Not on any of the channels. So, they were asked for an update. Probably the same people watching Sunshine Shoulders, and I'm assuming you translated exactly what the police guy said in Filipino. So, I have found one interview, and it's old news. Uh, it's not too old of a news. It's about a week old, probably. I don't think it's less than 10 days old, but it's about maybe a week old. And in the newspapers they said none of this, so it's not old news what I just said. So unless you fully translated the whole thing, which was in from a individual vlogger that was on Facebook, it's the only one that we found, so it's not too old of news. Yeah, there's a reason. Most definitely book them. Yeah, there was a reason. He attacked the guy that had the gun, and he sent somebody to kill him and his wife, and the person did attack. So there were warrants issued. There were problems way before this happened. So this is information that was not talked by other YouTube vloggers that are American or British or whatever. At least I haven't. If you know who it is, then let me know. What was said was the one channel that I heard it from, and a lot of people contacting us. And it's like, no, had nothing to do with racism. There had to be something. And then, boom, a vlogger went to the jail and recorded the guy. Then there was a police interview. And so he said everything in there. And the guy's going to spend a long time now over what? I'm sure there was a reason, possibly, that he would send somebody to kill, but why? I know. There's a lot, that nonsense of expats fighting going on in Angeles. Yeah. There's been several instances. I don't know of any time soon. It's been American death on death here, but there have been Filipinos that have robbed Americans in hotel rooms a long time ago. I mean, there's always fighting among the expats here, especially with the bars down here. So it happens, yeah. Always some sort of expat skirmish and stuff. And yes, they fight all the time down on Walking Street, but I don't know about like where they're killing each other. Hasn't been anything for like a long, long time. But American on American, no, that is a different story. At least one of them were military. I've had people over here approach me aggressively. Yeah, alcohol, PTSD, mental illness enters this country because it's cheap to live. Yeah, I thought about that, and it does draw a lot of people. The low income living attracts everybody. It was a major reason I left. It didn't stop me with the lupus. It didn't stop me with my high anxiety. It didn't stop me from thinking I'm going to be without power part of the time. I'm like, oh, I can deal with it. You always feel like you can get past all of that. And so, and then I said there are people way worse off. When we left, everything was fine. This was just an adventure in getting into retirement earlier. And so, the I it is the allure that your rent is, at least, even if you get a nice place, you're still paying less than 1,000 a month, and you can end up with a pool and 3 bedrooms here. Wait, what the hell? Will you get down? This. Oh, I'm about ready to get you, girl. So I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden, the baby Siamese put her hand up underneath, and she's grasping at the mints. and I hear this scratching on my mints, and she's pulling the bag, and I'm like, what the? And I was like, it was her. She just knocked something over. Chimney crickets. So it is all true. And I had to think about that. And that kind of brought me to do the topic today is it does, there is a very, very strong, and that's because not a whole lot of people have money anymore. It's still a very, like the percentage of somebody with 10,000 or more in their bank right now in the world is a small, I don't know. I thought they said it was like 25% of families or people have that much in their savings account right now. I'd be surprised if it's even 25% of the world right now. So people are trying to figure out, and now just as much as money, it is safety, the immigration issues. I'm not saying immigration was perfect before our current president is in there in the United States. It needed to be dealt with. And it is still scary. It is still scary because not every immigrant around the world is nice, like the ones arriving here. There's all kinds of shit that happens here. So it's um it's an ongoing thing, guys. Everybody saying hi, good mornings. Chosen one's like, I'm not a tough guy. I'm not fighting at 70. These expats are degenerates. My favorite word from Chosen One. I refuse to fight. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. That's why we covered so hard on Mark Thornton and they said we were attacking him. No, it's the truth, dude. You knew these guys were mad. They used to be your friends at one point. They all knew each other. And then they all knew they went to the same restaurant because it was the one. There's other restaurants in town. Why they all went to the same one all the time, I have no idea. But they were always going there, and he should have walked out if he knew this guy was threatening him. So when he went in and was sitting there and they started yelling at each other, he should have just walked out. He didn't. He said, let's go outside. They knew what that meant. We said that a million times. When he said, let's go outside, and he's like, yeah. And they both jumped up. They both knew it was coming. And Mark kicked him in his back and kicked him right out the door, and that was it. He started it. And it's like it doesn't matter if the other guy was saying, hey fatty, or he said he was calling him all kinds of things. We got like the side information of what was being said in there, and it doesn't matter what they were calling each other. It was like Mark kicked him out the door, and that was it. It was on like Donkey Kong. If somebody would have kicked me, it would have been on too. So it was it's just bad. Nice place to visit. Mostly a lot of moons ago. A lot of falling in the wishing well. You go, girl, looking better. Thank you, Thaddeus. Good days and bad days. Someone made the comment the other day, looks pretty good for you dying. And I'm like, well, what does dying look like? Because me and George discussed that. I said, what do people want? I told him right now, if I was 120 pound Filipina size, like a regular Filipina, because there are some that are heavier, and I was, saying this and still wearing my oxygen, you guys probably wouldn't say a whole lot if I was a little bit more frail and darker circles around my eyes. And it's like, what is death supposed to look like? Why? Because I'm mostly, they're like, oh, it's because you're doing lives for a couple hours. There's no way you're dying. No, I am dying every day. Every day I'm risking a stroke, a heart attack, and I can barely get around. I have to stop midway when I go more than 10 feet. And so it is extremely bad. So until I get better and get the money to enter the hospital for all the above, then yeah, I'm risking every day. I take medicines, I take it easy and stay in bed most of the day. So I can't stay in bed all day, but I'm feeling pretty good today for sure. I have good days and bad days. Oh, book 'em. Hey, what's going on? Definitely a Filipino father. Gotcha. Are you talking about my chicken taking off? I thought about that. I don't know if that's what you're referencing. It's first thing came in my head. I said it's like a dad abandoning his kids because he took off. It was the truth. He had already had sex with her, and it was less than a week. It was my fault, though. I did leave the cage open, but he did take off. He didn't even hesitate. And yeah, now he's gone. So I was like, okay, just like a real dad is doesn't want to deal with it. I'm out of here. But remember, mothers do the same too, guys. I'm only tough online. My reputation precedes me, right? Yeah, that's because you live in America. That's the one reason I left. Uh, when we left, the costs were going up. George was working unlimited hours. It was the pandemic. They had just locked down a lot of Florida. Like everything was masked. They wanted, um, like everything. You had to stand in those lines. They were getting tougher on things. We left right during the time, and people are still denying this happened. There were restrictions on who could leave the house. It was essential workers, and George at one point for his company had to get permits to take them anywhere and do anything. So there was restrictions that bad when we left. And when we left, the border of Mexico was closed, but we have videos marked with dates that we crossed into Mexico during that. They said it was closed. We didn't give a shit. We still sold everything, got rid of everything, and left. And they let us in. We were just lucky because we were just I guess we were just going to live in Texas. I said, I guess we'll just live on the border until it opens or something in a hotel, I guess. But we just rolled the dice. We both just said it was, and we did. But all I know is there's no way. It's not like I was using all those programs that he's getting rid of, um, that the president's getting rid of, or what would have affected us was the price of gas. The price of groceries was already ridiculous when we left, and just how everything's going up. And I, there's a lot going on. It's just not one thing. It will be interesting the trial 8 years from now, yeah, or if it's even that long. It could be longer, yeah. That's absolutely true. But there were warrants. The police did say that the other guy, there were warrants and everything, and that he told that. So dead man can't tell his tale, but still, it's not very good that he sent somebody to kill the other guy. I mean, what would warrant one side not being able to tell it because he's dead? If that just came from the vlogger and the bystanders and the guy that was in jail, that'd be one thing. The other part is the cops said there were warrants for the guy that went after the other guy and the other guy. So evidently there was something really going on. And it was the cops that said he approached him at the bar. It's still two guilty things. There was no reason. That's what I'm trying to say. When I look at a perspective, that's two no's. What could the dead man say right now that would say it was okay to approach him and do that, or that it was okay to send a Filipino to kill him and attack him? So, which is, I'm sorry, it sure sounds like a real fire starter to me. And that's where I'll side in. Yes, there could be other things. It could have been over a ton of money, and that was his wife and all that. But it wouldn't have. I'm sorry, it still makes you guilty at that juncture. But yes, dead men can't talk. There is still that level. Yes, chosen. You do what you got to do in order to get those trolls to leave you alone. Have a favorite fishing spot called it's the honey holes. That sounds like George. uh Formerly from the Bay Area, been in Miami Dade. Hey Nelson, good morning for 2 years. That is like we're all trolls, just still alive to express, right? At some level, all of us are trolling on channels at some point because people are like, oh, Heidi calls everybody a troll that comes on her channel and goes other places. That's all she talks about in her lives are trolls. And it's like, no, not really. Trolls in my medical, and it's like, although most of that is true about what's going on with our channel, it's like, no, we don't. All of her channel is drama. No, it's not. Uh, I want you to tell me why. I want you, because we asked you this the last time and you did not present. I want to know why. I want to absolutely know why. He has the worst ratings. He's the worst president. And I know it's going to piss people off. The stuff that he is doing, he is plundering and destroying the White House. It is a joke. The entire world sees this. You're the only one that doesn't, along with whoever's saying it's okay. You guys are so far into the MAGA cult, you guys don't even care. Independents, Democrats, even Republicans are seeing it. The whole world is seeing it. If this is just where it was, oh, Democrats are bad, Republicans are bad, no, the whole damn world. So I don't see where you're saying it. We will never catch up to the debt that's in there now. He stripped every program and every entity to everything going on in America and helping the world. They did deserve the help that they actually have. It's just horrible. He is the worst president ever, and it's just not one person saying it, it's the world saying it. He's just so into himself, he's blind, he doesn't see it, and the rest don't either. You do what you got to do. It's just where it is. It's bullshit. And I don't need confirmation from anybody. The world's already giving it. This situation happening in what 48 hours with him in this cage match is ridiculous. Using the inside of the White House to let these guys set up for these cage matches, and now they want to do diplomacy and put different countries in the ring as a representation of that's bullshit. This officially became some Mad Max bullshit. The president is delusional, sick with health, and just absolutely delusional. He did nothing he said he was going to do. And if you mention them dumbass taxes, which I'm sure you will on tips, that's bullshit too. Nelson Luke, what part of the Bay? EPA, San, okay, County. Nobody cares about the Bay Area. Gross. I'm a country boy. Tennessee. Hey, good morning, Roger. You'd have caught me treading even thinner water a year ago when we used to say, okay, okay, about what was going on in America. And it's like, okay, we got to wait and see. And then now he's just gaslighting, lying to everybody. It's just horrible. Oh, and what's the deal with just taking the oil now from Iran that he just admitted to? And he doesn't care about inflation. The worst president. The worst. He acts like a 3-year old. But I'm no longer going to tiptoe. Not going to tiptoe. It's just all crap. And good morning, Roger. Love Miami. Never going back. Oh, first Pina. So you've been married more than once to a Filipino. I've been seeing more and more Americans and Australians and other people married to Filipino men. I just seen one, there was an age gap. There's got to be at least a 15, 20-year age gap. They live in Australia. I thought about covering them also. And so she does like singing at like these bars and stuff, and she's a good singer. But yeah, I could tell he's at least 10 to 20 years younger. It could just be that she looks older. But, and she's not, like she said, she doesn't have a ton of money. I seen her set up, and she's not rich, probably middle class there. Probably rich enough to a Filipino, considering it shows his area is semi. He didn't seem to come from a super rich family like you'll see them uber rich Filipinos here. And so there was all kinds of comments. Oh, it's because you're rich. It's because. And she's heavy set, has super short hair like me now that I got short hair. And so all kinds of things were said like, must be this, must be that. And it's not. Funny how all these experts call other people friends and never met them in their whole life or shook hands with them or had dinner with them. Yeah, I have no idea what the reference to that is. I mean, it does happen where people do say that, but if we're talking about Mark Thornton and those other people, they were always at that diving place together. I don't know what the reference is to, but they were friends. Just reading through the comments here, talking about Memphis, Memphis, Memphis. Cap and Pongan ladies are the best wives. Yeah, I would say George is the best Filipino husband I've had. He'll wake up and watch us be like, "What did you say?" Chosen One says he is residing in Trump country. Pretty much anybody there is. But we managed to put our differences aside. Yes. As person to person, the same with Bookham, as people in meeting. Yeah, I'm not going to not talk to people or whatever. That's for sure. Some won't at all, knowing that one doesn't or does like him. Now, there's limits. We had to get rid of a guy on Facebook a while back, and he created another account to come in on the other one to find out why. And it's because every post on his Facebook was so hateful with Trump stuff. It was uncalled for. Like, it was just horrible. All the things that have happened with ICE and all of that, he was just horrible on some of this stuff. Not only was it racist, it was pure hate. Like some of the memes that he was creating, these were ones he was making. It was just bad. It was so bad. I wasn't going to stare at it any longer. And he would send them to us in the messenger, and I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna. It was really bad. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure of the reference. There's a lot of things that people just don't get a grasp until they're here. You know that it's going to be hot. You know there's going to be the poverty. You know the heat and all these different things. I'm sorry. You can imagine, watch it with your eyes until you live it. That's what we've been saying. It's the same with people like, oh, how bad can your heart problems be? You look fine. How bad? There's no way. Wait till it hits you. See how everything's affected when there's no oxygen in the blood, not your lungs. Two different things, two different situations, and I have both going on. So it is horrible, but the same with the Philippines. Until you live it, like when I talked about that survivor thing on an island, is like, well, there's no way I wouldn't have been able to find food and this and that. No, live it. It's one thing watching the movie, it's another thing living it. And a lot of these vloggers are not giving any insight. And then when we started 5 years ago, they were really catering to tourism to make more money on their channel, and I just wasn't. George fought me in the beginning. He's like, you can't say that about Filipinos. You can't say that about the Philippines. I said, yeah, but we got to say something. I'll take the risk. And so, and now everybody, well, I'm keeping it real and I'm going to tell you. And they do. They, it's insane. And Filipinos do too. They are some of the worst exposers of their own country, and the Filipinos all day long giving expat expert advice about how the foreigner should be living here, and they're the worst about dogging their own country. So it's everywhere. My dad was stationed in Memphis. Ah, cool. Some experts come here to slam the Rex patch for their stupid and crazy ideals and behaviors. Good morning, Cindy. Yeah, Chosen one's like, cool, Laura. Laura said, I just come across military pamphlets showing affordable new housing in Memphis, all in 1962. I had some stuff that I brought from America. My dad gave me a bunch of coins, old coins. I've got like old paper money, but I've got it here somewhere. I was going to take it over to the VFW. It was based when the war was going on, I think World War II. But they were the stamps to buy things. Like they were giving them out like war stamps or something for sugar when it was all rationed and limited. I have it where it was being filled up. And then it reminded me in the 70s and 80s. They still did it some in the 90s, and I haven't seen it since. Where you go to the grocery store, and if you buy certain items, then you can fill up the booklet. They gave you stamps at the counter still, and you filled the books up and you got a collection of plates or the glasses, or but you never really realized in the end that buying the extra, you could have just bought the cups, but you wanted the collection. Kind of like the McDonald's glasses that they had in the 80s and stuff. It's like you kept getting the meals or something to get the cups. So, yeah. Some expats come here to slam other expats and create drama. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're right on that. My dad was born in Memphis. Ah, they kept a lot of things. When I used to drive a truck, they told me, whatever you do, do not stop or sleep in Memphis. Oh, wow. What is the one? Atlanta, Georgia. They were telling, like, we drove through there during that real bad typhoon a few years before we left. And there was something about going through Georgia, one of them big cities they had tried to warn. I know it was a crazy drive. Heidi, do they have you on any anxiety meds? I need some anxiety meds. I am. These I will leave off the chart what I take. And I mostly take two of them. One was given to me since the incident because short of me taking morphine is something that they give in the last stages like I'm at. I am in stage D. There is no recovery. Even if I get stents and I get the inflammation and fluid off my body by entering the hospital, that's the only way it's going to happen. So without the full funds, um, then there is morphine that they give for palliative care. Could I set that up right now and it would help me breathe better and it would help with the muscle aches and all that? Yes, it probably would. Now, finding somebody and affording somebody long term, and it would be like a small amount at a time, it relaxes the I think it's like the diaphragm. It relaxes everything to help your breathing. It does help everything. But right now, they had given me something starting in January. So it's at nighttime. So I do take two of them at nighttime. So I'm a country boy, it's true, unlike Slick Rick. Yes, I do dip tobacco. Celexa. One that I've used on and off for probably over 10 years. Uh, well, it's not probably been 10 years, but it's been for years, is clonidine. It's an anxiety, but now the doctor still has it ordered up because it's for blood pressure. It's a multi drug, mostly known for the heart situation. So, in small doses, it's also pretty good. But it's usually you only take it when the blood pressure's out of control, like George is still out of control. I'm an avid non-smoker. I never chew tobacco. I chew Trident. I was a smoker. Now I will let you know that that could very well be. I had smoked probably since I was 15 years old, and probably quit 10 years ago. So it's not off the table. That unhealthy diet and being overweight since I've been pregnant and had two kids and stress, like a lot of my jobs were stressful. Anything could be what's causing this, but right now they feel it's a few things added to it, like the lupus and the APS, the thick blood, and I've got like all these issues. I got a headache like all get out, guys. I don't know why. I've had one since yesterday, but it's normal. Could be medicine. Nessa, like, I just smoke weed. That'll take care of it. That's true. There are two or three different types. Well, there's more than different types, but usually there's the different types. Yeah. My blood pressure is elevated. Might be age or anxiety. Yeah, watching other stuff. Yeah, sodium. Yeah, I gotta watch sodium, fluid for sure. Yeah, and everybody's heart just starts to go out. That's the bottom line. Is everybody's heart just starts to go out. It's just age. It doesn't matter if you're small or big or diet, or it eventually just wears out. And there are some people that are just unhealthy, overweight, and everything else that don't deal. It never. They just die of old age. Chosen one's like, I don't smoke weed. I get very paranoid. I swear my toes will fall off. I do not act right. uh, I do not drink, smoke, use drugs, and gave up my weak coffee. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I would give up. I'm only doing the 1 cup a day though. I disagree with you that only half the country is okay with Trump right now. Sorry, that's who says that. When the people are talking and it's just not the stats that are brought up or the whole world, I do not believe it's 50% of the country. But I don't believe the stuff on CNN or any of them. I just don't. I only voted for him because people fear him. I felt we needed a president, but I know he's not the smart man. Well, they believe it's because they didn't want a black female president. That's first. Secondly, when he did get allegedly attacked, that just sent him into like some sort of affinity in front of people that he survived such a thing, and it just put him up there. And thirdly, rigged. It's where it is. He's been going on still how all elections are rigged. And George is like, doesn't he realize he's talking about his own elections? He said all were rigged. Sorry, that came from him over and over again. So the whole point is it's just insane. But he's going to plunder and drain the rest of the money. You guys are fools. 50% of the country is okay with the amount of money he's putting in his pocket. Do you know all those tickets? He's the money. Where do you think all that money's going? Them aren't free tickets on for that whole event. It's unreal. They're the White House is being sued now. I'm not going to go into those details, but you're not supposed to make any profit whatsoever. You can't set these things up, and he is just like his granddaughter selling her sweatshirts last year through the White House, taking photos. You're not allowed to do that, but they are. All rules have changed for this president. Everything they're doing is wrong. It's unreal. Unreal. Yeah, see, I knew you would say that. No, it has not. I don't watch just CNN or The View. It's really idiotic to actually say that's what I watch. It's not. I watch them all. I watch individuals. I watch the independent news. I just mentioned, I know it's further down. CNN is not the answer. And there are some dumb ass Democrats that have plundered things too. Not unaware of that. It's always the first thing is that I'm a View person and a CNN person and a New York Times person, where it just doesn't make any sense. And you do realize the great old Fox News a few years ago was not where they are now. They weren't always a supporter of what's going on. They just happened to flip sides. I watched Fox since I was a kid, and they were not always on board with what's going on. And now, yeah, it's selling out. You can't convince me in any manner or say anything that would convince me that the situation is okay in America. We'll see how you guys feel when Social Security gets stripped and all the rest of the programs, and he's hiding in a bunker after November. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You guys think it's all a joke, and we'll see what happens. So you'll be like, oh, it don't affect me. I've got money. Oh, okay. You and what percentage? So it's just you, the billionaires, a few of you MAGA people that are, hey, it's okay. I don't need the Social Security. It's okay for a bunch of family members that are in your family that just lose it. And it's their fault because they're only on Social Security. Bullshit. Like a woman said the other day, then cut me a check. I too have worked since I was 15. I want the money, the investment time, and everything else. You can cut me a check too. That's just where it is. Bullshit. He is very entitled, self-centered, fragile ego man. Trump is he? No, he's not president. Israel's in charge. How do you guys feel about Israel? I mean, we want to get into this. How's Israel going? How is it that that's not right in front of your faces now? Bullshit. Insane. Insane how much money they're getting. You're okay with them getting the amount of money and how he's sucking his ass. I'm sorry. It's just out of control now. It really is. But then again, it's been like that since the beginning of time, too. All of a sudden, he's like, I miss Chicago, but not that traffic jam time. Yeah, there's some bad traffic here. I can't imagine now spending that amount of time in my life and traffic daily. That part-time job I had at Uber that drove me crazy, especially if you get stuck in the Tampa Bay area in Tampa. You get stuck over the bridges, and I hate sitting on those bridges because I thought about how many of them collapsed in Florida. And it's here the traffic is really bad. The family house is probably 15 minutes away, but it takes 40 minutes to get over there pretty much any time of the day. And when you get out there, I hate being out there because of the amount of smog and the smell of fumes and diesel and how crazy people cut each other off on the motorcycles. You got to constantly screech those brakes. Chosen One says he's always respected the office. Yeah, they deserve respect back at some level. I've never seen such childish shit posted at the White House page as I've seen. That is some of the craziest stuff. And people are like, oh, that's not him doing that, it's somebody else. No, he puts the stuff on Truth Social. So the whole point is, it's the most childish thing I've ever seen. And I don't mind being crazy, but it just got out of control. And I understand the full respect of being military and serving your country, but you're just gonna like go, not you specifically, but people are just gonna follow him to the Kool-Aid right over the edge of the mountain, no matter what he says. I mean, how much can people take? Like somebody said, let's just say, and you throw the Epstein file thing out, which they're coming up with more and more stuff and more people speaking against what happened. Let's say, like they said, accepting that for most of them will be no problem, but everything else, no. There was no reason to be in that war. What about the war, Chosen One? You think that's all okay? You think that was all lies on every channel and every independent about, and the American soldiers that have gone over there and investigated themselves, that school? No, it's not okay. None of it is okay. It just gets some of the, it just, I don't know. There's only so much you can follow before it just turned. It's like, yeah, they should cut these programs. What about the Doge thing? And all that walking off with the money and how about nobody talks about the tariffs? I mean, all of this is disappearing because more and more stuff's happening. He covers one after the other in the stock market thing. You're buying that. That's all lies from everybody around the world. No. And that's just the beginning. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. When one thing happens, he comes up with something next and next. And now, with all this going on, he's now talking about, I'm taking Cuba. Oh, they deserve that, blah, blah. I'm sorry, slow the fuck down, man. He's mad with power. This is no longer a democracy thing. This is whatever else they're calling him. This is all dictatorship. This is not the View saying it. This is, well, they have, but my point is this is, a blind man can see all this. It doesn't matter. Trust in your country when there's some sort of respect given back. He doesn't give a shit about anybody anymore. There's nothing that shows that. Everything has to be to his advantage. And nobody's stopping him because he built a cabinet that nobody will stop. And he did that intentionally too. Hey, what's going on, Harry? And them are truths. My family served our country since the French American Indian War. Yes. My grandfather, World War I, World War II, didn't want me to see the horror of war. Yeah, and so it's sad. Everybody that served, a lot of my family is military, and it's sad for everything that's been fought for and the things that are now being stripped or the way things are going. It's crazy. Sometimes someone can tell you how it is, but you really won't know until you experience it in person. Yeah, that you George told me it's hot. You do realize that it's poor there, and we could be running like out of items. Which we sent a couple Billy buying boxes over to make sure we didn't run out of certain things. Because then I did have a fear when he said that, but he had not been home in years. And a lot of things like when we got here, the grab and the deliveries were brand new. We were thankful for that. And yeah, until you get here, and that's some misinformation on our channels that we're not here because we do mostly live streams now, but we do a few videos a month that still shows, out and about, or it's like, no, we're here. Oh, okay. Hey, what's going on, Fallen Center? It's good to see you here. Okay, that was it. The A and P. Yep. The plaid stamps, the S&H green stamps. That's what it was. I'm glad you remember that, Harry. Yep. Yes. Somebody says I'm this old, and they showed food stamps and they put all the colors up, and I was like, "Yep, that's right." I was in the States for 3 weeks this year. I couldn't wait to leave. I'm over 65 and all my friends are still working. Yeah, that's another thing. It doesn't matter. The programs that were put in place as a safety net should not all be stripped. And now he's trying to take them all away. And he raised the age from 55 to 65 on food stamps for them working. What the F? Are you serious? 55 was considered a senior back then, and now he's raised it to 65, and some of them are only getting 100. They showed a disabled person that is working, that got their Medicaid cut, which was the supplement to their Medicare. And I don't know how much they were making, but they went from 200 in food stamps down to like 100 or 80. It was something unreal. And she was like, before I was able to eat something, and I was able to eat like twice a day for the amount that she had plus working. She goes, with rent and everything else, it's just out of control. But they're doing stuff like this now. This is going on now, and they're talking about cutting half the program of WIC and getting rid of. I just don't get it. I don't. What about the state park money? You're all going to say that's not real, where that money was coming in and it's also being used, or all the networks and all the information out there is wrong. That's just total gaslighting. The roads are falling apart over there. They're not doing anything. Hey, what's going on, Tio? Good morning. Good morning. My grandfather was born into slavery. My grandfather was born a slave. Me and George was talking about that the other day. It's extremely sad. And like the history, it came up. It talked about the history in other countries of slavery and how the entrapment and how they brought them to America and the breeding. I had no idea how deep all that went. A lot of people just see some movies, and again, like watching YouTube and coming to the Philippines, they assume that's how it all went, but it goes way deeper. And I've discussed this before, that I was in the segregation in the 70s, and they actually had us watch Roots. It wasn't a, hey, do you want to? No, they made my mother sign a letter, and like for a week or something, they had us watch all the segments and stuff. And I'm glad I did. I've seen it over and over and over again. And it's just, it opens your eyes, but not like the whole thing they're showing now on the internet. You see everything, how they bred them and trapped them, and the amount of owners versus the slaves having kids, and how they treat it. It was just horrible, unfair, and horrible. Everybody saying their hello. I'm 63. I love racing speedboats, motorcycles. They don't have that sport in the Philippines. I'll be a tourist. Well, They do have racing speedways here. The owner of Candy Palace goes all the time, so they do. And events, motorcycling is all over here. They have what I call gangs and clubs, and there's expats and Filipinos, just Filipino ones. No, they're here. Even people wonder if there's cycling here. Yeah, of course there is. They've got competitions and everything else. So these are here. You just have to know where they are. My second grandfather, Cornelius, Civil War Northern Infantry officer, buried at Arlington. What was it recently? I thought they said they removed a bunch of people off a plaque or something. They said it was I forgot. There was a bunch. They're removing a lot of Black history. Can anybody, something that Trump had done recently over the last few months? They've been trying to erase all that out of. I could be wrong, but it was multiple sources that I had read and seen one news. Again, without going further into doing more research, pretty sure that was going on too. They're trying to erase history. Hello, Heidi. Good morning there in the Philippines. Good morning, Pat. Everybody saying yeah, and a lot of the Trump side will just say that that's because CNN said it and that's their quarters. And then we could say the same about Trump. That's him saying his health records. And he put up a chart and said, okay, this is what unemployment looks like, okay. Same thing. You can't trust nobody. But when you get all the independence and you're living that life and you have family members paying those prices, don't need no charts from CNN or whatever. People do not like that president. And then if you just like eliminate America and start talking to the world, they definitely do not. It's he's affecting everybody, and now I think they're talking about shutting down they're all attacks and the whole thing over there starting all over again, and it's just a mess. Uh, my grandfather Olin, Philippines battle. Oh, Baton. Wow, wow. Hey, tell Mama I said hi. And thanks for dropping in, Laura. Ha! The hell he is. The hell he is. Where's that money going to? It's all only the UFC charging. He has no. I'm not even going to go into it because the more I say he's part owner and the ones that are selling the pay per views and the tickets up close, you guys will deny it. And then it'll go back and forth. And it's not true. He is making money. 100% he is. Yeah, 100% he is. I mean, this is just no. These are not all free tickets. You can say they were given away to the military people and they're all free. It's not true. He is getting a kickback just like he did that painting that what's it called the over I'm not even going to get into the amount of money he's made, and this one is just as crazy. It's trashy, it's ridiculous. It is not a celebration. Nobody wants that but the Trumpers. There's nobody saying, oh my god, this is so spectacular. It looks like a freak show, that whole lighting up of the White House, and if he keeps that up, that's even more ridiculous. That whole spectacle is ridiculous. There's zero respect when he runs that. It's because people are afraid of him at that point, and the rest of them, I don't know. That is just a freak show, more of a freak show, and it's coming from somebody like me that it's a freak show. That is insane. I don't mind a few cage fights. I don't mind wrestling and some of these others, but when you turn an event of what you're linking to the 250 years and your birthday and you took the people's house, that ain't his goddamn house, and you turn it into a freak show, it is a freak show. That's exactly what this is. There is no, oh, she's a hateful woman and that's only her opinion. No, no, truths. Yeah, actually, there is. You're not allowed to use. No, check out the law. There is a law. Phone auto talk. That's a lie. There's no propaganda. There is no using. It is a law. You are not allowed to use White House property to pimp out your sweatshirts and show yourself on the internet selling a product like she was. She outright was selling, and there is. You're not allowed to do any of that. None. None whatsoever. She just got away with it because she's Trump. That's exactly what that is. Nobody has sold one product out of the White House except for her and Trump putting his perfume up on air, his phones, talking about I'm selling phones right in the middle of the White House. Bullshit. There isn't. There is definitely. Correct. More than an overview. No president or family are allowed to sell any personal merchandise or products or profit from inside the White House or at the White House. Period. And that includes family. It says a president may authorize the sale of commemorative items such as state gifts, coins, or books, which he's doing the hell out of that right now because there's been souvenirs sold since 1946. Beg to differ. So go look that up. And I knew more than that, but there's all kinds of things against that. And she did. And there was a big cry when that happened. The same with him and his pimping out the perfume and the phone saying, I'm selling these. No, you're not allowed to sit in there and do that. He doesn't care about the country. And if so, you tell me how. Be kind and drink water. I stand for my country first in my Pena, 12-year citizen now. Oh, she's been there for 12 years? Work is a fact every Philippine citizen desires. Yes. Israel is not in charge. They cannot defeat the American people. Well, they don't have to defeat the American people in order to be in charge. Ukraine is getting a lot of money. So we know what side you're fully on by saying Ukraine is getting the money. That he sends money to all sides. Ukraine, Russia, most definitely. Go tour Manila. Internet down again. Go tour Manila Recruitment Center. Has been there. Near the Philippines Medical Hospital for OFW citizens. Have no idea. Boston and DC look the best they ever. That's a credit to the president. I don't know. Israel is America's little brother, and that's it. Philippines cast the last vote to determine Israel as a nation. Yeah. Who needs Bomba? Big, big one. It does matter, troll. Most definitely. Been here for 5 years. It does matter. I don't have to like and agree with everything that he's done from A to Z, including his crimes. Don't have to care for any of that to know that I don't have to be led to say I'm not an American. I am an American. I will keep my passport active, and it is active. And, I don't have to like him. He won't be there forever. He's got to pass away, or something's going to happen to him. One or the other, he'll be gone soon. So it doesn't matter. And everything that he did will be erased. So it doesn't matter. But as of right now, there's more than one reason to leave the country, and people are leaving in droves. The people are speaking. It'll eventually trickle down. If it's a dictatorship, then he's not leaving the office. It's a very good possibility. Oh, well, without a doubt. It's not a dictatorship. We still have the right to say what we want, and we still have the right to carry a weapon. Yeah, for now, unless you speak against them, for now, you can speak here. So, don't need to carry a weapon over 50 here. And George can. My life is great. I'm just being honest. That's cool. Hey, what's going on, Donald? There was a flying gas station that had 39-cent steak knives when you purchased $5 of gas. I remember correctly, it was 49 cents a gallon. Oh my God, yeah. Jeez, remember $10 could get you a lot at a gas station. So he has not given unlimited money to black colleges, phone talk. Are you serious? Most racist man in the world did not. If people don't like him, why does he keep winning? Because that's what you're thinking he has. Heidi, you have a personal grudge. No, you married a Filipino man in the Philippines. Now I married him in America. He was there for 28 years, but he is a Filipino citizen. Yes, it is not Trump's fault. I must correct you. Stop the nonsense. Yeah, I don't think so, chosen one. Don't think so. You're not correcting me. Ain't never going to sway me on the shit that Trump's doing right now. You all screaming that I'm this, I'm that. I talk too much about it. And you're keeping this conversation going. I'm just reacting. So the whole situation, no, I don't think so. Me being here and what has nothing to, none of that had anything to do with that. All right, guys, I see I am down to the last bit of this, and I will wrap this up. Yeah, because I'm not going to sit here and go through the back and forth of that. But basically, the conversation still stands of America or the Philippines. It wasn't supposed to be the political side of it. For most people, it's dealing with cost, getting into relationships, finding a better way to retire now that America is unattainable. And that's where the conversation went today. So, all right, guys, I am going to split, so appreciate everybody dropping in. Thanks, Donald. The Obama sent helicopters full of money. I'm a new subscriber. Thank you so much. We cover all different things. Usually we don't. We never covered anything political, and we tried to stay out of the realm in the last 6 months. In the beginning, then we piped down, and then things have just gotten bad. It's affected the world, so now it's a lot different. So, but all right, guys, I will see you. The next will be Monday, and George will be there. Today is Independence Day in the Philippines. Happy Independence Day for the Philippines. And Monday will actually be a lot of things. I believe all kinds of stuff's happening. It's the day of Pinatubo. It's the anniversary. I believe it is the UFC thing. And there's all kinds of things going on. It might even be the final match. I believe it's also the final match with the Knicks and stuff. So go Knicks. Get everybody wound up. Bye. Hi, Victoria. Good morning. Rick said, see ya. Victoria, good morning. Good morning. And I'm going to go check on that. I am going to go check on that chick. So, and go see what George is up to. All right. Have a good morning and evening, guys.